The scripture says, the enemy is a liar and there is no truth in him. When he roars, you can take the opposite of what he's saying. You'll never meet the right person. You've been single so long. Lord, thank you. Now I know the right person is on the way. I believe they're already headed my direction. You hear that roar, your child will never get back on course. You raised him right, but look at where he is now. Take the opposite. Father, thank you. Now I know that as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, that my child will fulfill his purpose, that he will do great things. The reason the enemy is roaring is because you're closer than you think. He's trying to threaten you with intimidation, fear. The truth is, the roar means you're a threat to him. Start ignoring the roar. That our enemy is called a roaring lion. He roars to see what you're going to do. Are you going to run, be intimidated, give up on your dreams, turn your back on what God's promised you? Then he can defeat you. But if you'll stand your ground, like Hezekiah, like my mother, and say, I'm not moved by these threats, not letting this fear, this intimidation cause me to shrink back, live worried, then you'll find it was a mock charge. It was a lot of bark, but there was no bite. And see, I've learned the enemy will never quit roaring. I've seen God take me places that I've never dreamed. It's opened up big doors, defeated great enemies. You would think he'd say, okay, Joel, he's not going to listen. God's been good to him. But even now, I still hear the roar. You've made it this far, but you can't keep this up. You've seen your best days. The opposition is too much. The enemy has no new tricks. He's not creative. He uses the same tactics. The roaring lion, loud threats, loud thoughts. It's not going to work out. This problem's too big. Give up, surrender, quit believing. He's expecting these negative thoughts to make it easier to defeat you. What he doesn't realize is you're like Hezekiah. You know his tactics. You're aware of his schemes. He's all bark and no bite. When you call his hand on it, when you say, no thanks, I'm not afraid. I'm not intimidated. The problem may be big, but I know my God is bigger. The medical report may not look good, but God can do what medicine cannot do. He has the final say. Or these people against me may be powerful. I'll admit that, but my God is all powerful. He flung stars into space. He spoke worlds into existence. Him being for me is more than the world being against me. It's all downhill from here. No thanks. You must have the wrong person. My latter days will be better than my former days. God has taken me from glory to glory. Well, your family's never going to get back on course. Look how long it's been. Just accept it. Instead of letting that discourage you, why don't you roar back? No thanks. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. My children will be mighty in the land. What God started, He will finish. Quit letting the roar dominate your life. Take control of your thought life. The battle is taking place in our mind. The enemy knows if he can control your thoughts, he can control your life. You can't keep him from roaring, but when you recognize his tactics, when you know he goes about as a roaring lion, then you can deal with them properly. You won't let the roar keep you from your purpose. The enemy knows if he can control your thoughts, he can control your life. You can't keep him from roaring, but when you recognize his tactics, when you know he goes about as a roaring lion, then you can deal with them properly. You won't let the roar keep you from your purpose. It may be intimidating, but it cannot stop what God has ordained for you. Ignore the roar, keep moving forward, and God will get you to your destiny.